Hello and welcome to this special edition coming your way from Nile TV International regarding one of the main events of the day, as under the presidency of Egypt, the African Union Peace and Security Council issued two statements regarding the developments and the latest consequences in Sudan and in Somalia. And to be shedding more light on such an important topic with the participation of Dr. Badr Abdulati, the Foreign Minister of Egypt, I'm honored to be having with me over the phone Dr. Mohamad Ezaby, the political analyst and the expert in international relations. Dr. Mohamad, thank you very much for being with us tonight on Nile TV International and this special edition.
Thank you very much.
Anytime. First of all, how do you see the importance of Egypt heading the African Union Peace and Security Council nowadays?
Well, we can say that Egypt is as a leader of African countries and as president of Council of Security and Peace, African Security and Peace Council, have agreed important to participate in this meeting as a preparation for the next meeting between the leaders of the African countries. Egypt, as I said, as a leader of African countries, tried to put solutions for the problems and struggles in many African countries like Sudan and Somalia and the Horn of Africa. Try to save the unity of the African countries, land, try to support national military armies in African countries. So Egypt have a great effort to solve these struggles. So the important Dr. Badr Abdulati, Minister of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Egyptian expatriate, has been activity involved in the African Union, activities in Addis Ababa during mid-February 2026. Since he had arrived in Addis Ababa on February 11th to 12th, 2026, to lead Egypt's delegation at the 48th ordinary session of the Executive Council, Minister level, and prepare for the 39th ordinary session of the Assembly of Heads of States and Government, February 14th and 15th, 2026. His engagement reflects Egypt's strategic priorities, peace and security, especially Sudan and the Horn of Africa, institutions, strengthening of the African Union post-conflict reconstruction, bilateral ties with key African states, and coordination on regional crises.
Dr. Mohamad, of course, we have seen the statements of Foreign Minister Dr. Badr Abdulati for today to be committed as an Egyptian partner in the African Union Peace and Security Council, and heading the council nowadays is to be having a new approach to be dealing with the crises that are facing the African continent. How do you see this future approach from Egypt towards the benefit of our African brothers and sisters?
Well, we know what the speech of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi when he announced some red lines in the struggle of Sudan. He refused the existence of any militia in Sudan. He insists to save the unity of the Sudan land, and Egypt support Sudan army to fight terrorism in Sudan. We know what the militia had done to the civilians in Darfur, and how they killed innocent people, kids and women. So Egypt put red lines in Sudan and Somalia, especially, as I said, save the unity of their land. Also, they want to start negotiations to cease fire, to send humanitarian aid to Sudanese people. Egypt made a great diplomatic effort, especially with African countries, to take a decision from the African Union to start take a decision to cease fire in Sudan and force the militia to leave the weapon and involve it in negotiations with the Sudanese government and save the souls of the civilians in Sudan.
Doctor, you mentioned Sudan several times. What about the statements for Somalia, as we have seen in the past week, the meeting that took place here in Cairo between His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and the President of Somalia, Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, for the past week? How do you see the implications of this meeting in terms of helping Somalia to be keeping its security, its stability and its territorial integrity for the future?
Well, we know that Egypt shared Somalia with military troops under the umbrella of African Union. Also, Egypt refused any kind of confession of what had named by Somaliland, and all the African countries knows that Somaliland is a part and supported by Israel, and what Israel tried to control the marine and the Red Sea, so the African countries refuse any confession by Somaliland, and Dr. Badr Abdel and President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi want to save the unity of Somalia and support Somalia's government and the President of Somalia by troops and diplomatic efforts to make all countries refuse any kind of confession by Somaliland and delete the dream of Israel to control the marine and the Red Sea.
On the sidelines of the African Union meetings, Foreign Minister Dr. Abdulqadir Abdulati also spoke about the importance of achieving food security for Africa in general and of course for Egypt in specific, and he stated that we could be exchanging the expertise with the African partners, with the African brothers and sisters in different countries in terms of land reclamation, in terms of the digital transformation application in agriculture. How do you see the importance of this step by Egypt to the benefit of Africa now?
Well, we know that African countries is a very rich countries by their treasures, like minerals, like water, and Egypt tried to take the principle of a win-win principle and has relations with African countries. Egypt tried to support African countries by many projects like dams, like infrastructure and many other things, and health projects. And the case or a principle of win-win try to take some benefits from African countries, especially in the field of agriculture and many other fields that Egypt need to achieve in the African countries. From the beginning that His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi being a president of Egypt, he take a great attention to the relation between Egypt and the African countries, and we saw how the relations between Egypt and the African countries be now, especially the relation between Egypt and Uganda, Egypt and Somalia, and many other countries, and many projects have done by Egypt and African countries as a support from Egypt to these countries, and Egypt start to invest in Africa as I said, as a principle of win-win principle.
Today, Doctor, we have seen Foreign Minister Dr. Badr Abdulati also having another meeting with the British Minister for the State for International Development and African Affairs, Jenny Chapman. And they were speaking exclusively about Sudan, about the importance of preserving the Sudanese institutions and the territorial integrity of the African country. How do you see the importance of this dialogue that took place between Egypt and Britain, or at least the representative for Britain on Sudan nowadays?
We know that Egypt gave a great attention to the relation with not only African countries but European countries, and we know what is the importance of Britain, especially in the Security Council and United Nations, and we want to unify the situations between Egypt and Britain about Sudan and Somalia, and make a decision from Security Council, UN Security Council, to ceasefire in Sudan, and we try to make some kind of arrangements between Egypt and Britain. Especially, we want to, we consider that militia in Sudan is a terrorist militia, and we want to fight them to save the unity of Sudan country. So it is a very important meeting between Egypt and the foreign minister and Britain foreign minister in discussing the struggles in Africa, not only Sudan but the other conflicts in Africa.
Yes, and finally, how do you see the importance of the focus on Africa in general, the agenda that we have adopted under the tenure of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi for the past 10 or 12 years in general, and with a specific focus on boosting and strengthening the bilateral ties between Egypt and the African continent?
Well, as I said, that African countries are very rich with their treasures and sources, especially minerals, especially that if the African countries succeed to make the best use of their sources, African countries will be the richest in the world. So President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi gave a great attention to the relations between Egypt and African countries, and we saw that how these relations become very great under the presidency of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, and try to use the principle of win-win between Egypt and the African countries. So it is very important to get back to Egypt's position as a leader of African countries.
Yes, Dr. Mohamad Ezaby, the political analyst and the expert in the international relations. Thank you very much for being with us tonight on Nile TV International and this special edition.